where you're watching from, just know a little bit about you. And then after you let us know if this is your first time and where you're watching from, also do well to share this live video. All right, you most likely came across Ready for Marriage because somebody got to share the video and then you subscribed. So please do well to subscribe, and so other people can also get to watch and join in when you share this video. So very quick, very quick. It's going to be a very fast one. Like I said, tonight is going to just be an introduction to a series of phobias we're going to be looking at. And tonight we're starting with gamophobia. Tomorrow we're going to elaborate a lot more about gamophobia. You should put it in a book because he wouldn't read it. Well, the narrative has changed. Africans now read, right? Africans read. We read. But I'm coming to learn something in recent times, that if you want to not let most Nigerians in on something, just use a word, a new word that they don't know. All right. So we just have a way of switching off, and not learning new words. So you're dealing with something and you don't even know what you're dealing with, and then somebody mentions it and you don't even bother to check it out. All right. So gamophobia, what does gamophobia means? First off, you have to understand that phobia in itself is a Greek word, and phobia simply means fear. All right. So there are several phobias, thousands of phobias in the world, right? Thousands of phobias in the world. But gamophobia in itself simply means the fear of commitment. All right? Gamophobia is the fear of commitment. And it's not just limited to, romantic relationships. All right? It is the fear of commitment. So you as a lady, you're probably wondering, this guy is so nice to me. This guy buys me gifts. But what's going on? You keep asking, what are we doing? Where are we going with this thing? And it's not really defining what's going on. It's not really defining where you guys are headed. He's most likely dealing with gamophobia. All right. So what is gamophobia? It is the fear of commitment. Now, a person can have gamophobia and still be madly in love with you. All right. So this is how you have the guy, he ticks all the boxes, he's doing the right thing, he's there for you, he's kind-hearted, yada, 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 and all of that. But he's just not getting to being committed. Now, let me flip it. I also understand that there are people who are players, all right? There are people who are players, they want to test different soup, right? I understand that, but in some cases, I found people who would just generalize and say, if you really love a person, you go ahead, marry the person and all that. It doesn't always work out that way, right? It doesn't always work out that way. Yes, it's not everyone who's a player, but then you could be, and sadly in Nigeria, we don't really look at mental health. We don't really look at things like this. Malaria will sabi, mosquito will be 5 and 6, gutter, the day back of house and stuff like that. But people actually do deal with stuff like this. So sometimes it's not even about your partner. Sometimes it's even about the person who is dealing with this phobia, because the person is thinking to his or herself, okay? And first off, I need to say that gamophobia is also not, restricted to a particular gender. It could be a man, it could be a woman. It's not a gender thing, all right? It's not a gender thing. Same way, mosquito they choose to bite man or woman. It's not a gender thing, all right? So many people who deal with this actually see a man or a lady they are attracted to, actually decide they're going to walk through, dates for, say, a period of few weeks or few months. They want to get to know who this person is, right? But they just never get themselves to make a commitment. And just when the guy or the lady, because it's both ways, just when the guy is now sure of what he has found out about you in the dating process, right? And wants to now make a serious commitment, you bail out. Or just when you are the guy and right? You thought, or the lady thinks you're just playing around, and then she now realizes that you're serious. She builds out on you. It goes both ways. All right. So, gamophobia is one of the reasons why we have a lot of heartbreaks. Okay, I was going to say something, but let me pause. So, gamophobia is one of the reasons why we have a lot of heartbreaks, and it's not exactly properly diagnosed. So, you see a person have symptoms, goes to the hospital, and this is something I can personally testify about in my own life. You go to the hospital, you're given drugs, but you don't feel better. All right? It's one of two things. Now, in medicine, there's something called, what's it called now? Okay, I'm going to remember. There's a word for diseases that has no cure, has no trace, has no cause. What's it? I just, it's like I'm seeing the letters. Anyway, I probably remember before the end of the show. So it's possible that you're not getting the root cause, and you're treating symptoms. And then this is another thing most people don't know. You can have a disease that has a similar symptom with another disease. As a matter of fact, I have checked out, I've felt some symptoms some time back, and I checked it out, and when I typed in Google, which a lot of people will tell you never to type your symptom in on Google, what you will see will always be depressing. So I type in these symptoms, and I was expecting to see one ailment, and then I saw 12. I'm like, no, I can't have 12 ailments in my body, right? So there are diseases that have similar symptoms, they share similar symptoms, and you will just think, all right, you will just think that, so you don't assume. You could have someone with high blood pressure and is having headaches, and somebody with malaria and is also having headaches. All right, so you just don't assume, which is another reason why a physician will tell you not to abuse drugs, not to, once person just start they feel cold, joint pain, they say, na malaria, go chemist, in Nigeria, go chemist, sharp. We know they do tests, no time, except the person know if you waka, you don't strong go, or if they talk, they answer you, omo, we'll go hospital, but it doesn't have to get to that point, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying that a lot of people struggle with symptoms, right? That looks like something else. That looks like they're probably being players, and that's why they broke up. But you probably just didn't know they were dealing with gamophobia. They probably just didn't know they were dealing with the fear of commitment. The fear of commitment. Some people, and see, this is not because people go into relationship and they don't desire to get married. As a matter of fact, people want to get married, but there are several questions, and I'll give you one very basic one. I mean, this one, no be research. Now, my personal life, I want to share. I always have a way of shooting myself in the leg in every life that we have. Man, we're almost out of time, but so let me just make this snappy. So, I used to have this question growing up. I used to be like, how does a man and a woman get married, have children, and they feed those children morning, afternoon, night for the rest of their life? What kind of work do you do to feed? This is me asking as a child, when I was a child. What kind of work do you do? How do you, even you have days where you don't have money for yourself. Then you now have a wife. Then you now have children. Then you probably even have extended family live with you. How do you guys do it? I used to think about that. Until when I was an adult, and I spoke with a friend, and he voiced the same fear that he wants to get married, but he's just thinking, he has a job, but he's just thinking, can my job do this? Can my job, my babe, now high class, she get high taste, now high maintenance. I say, but Chamo, who sent you? Do you get? Who sent you? So now, if I have the fear of commitment already and I know it, then I should even get a lady who makes things easy for me. I should get a lady who, now, please don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about settling for less. I'm not talking about being a mediocre, far from it, all right? That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that you know your capacity and you choose your battles. But that's not what we're talking about today. So a lot of people are struggling with this, and like I said, this is just an introduction. We're going to, dissect it a lot more tomorrow, and then we'll see a whole lot of other phobias, all right? We'll see a whole lot of other phobias as the week goes by, as the days goes by. But then, what I just want to leave with us in tonight's life is this, that you probably might want to have a rethink why you had a breakup in your relationship. You probably might have to talk a lot more. And like I said, this is not a gender thing. It happens to men, it happens to women. Some women enjoy the attention until they realize this guy is not playing around. This guy really wants to marry me, and they both. Some other guys, some other ladies are serious with a guy, and the guy is just thinking she's just like my ex until she proves him wrong. Then he's scared of the attention. I had a relationship where I couldn't understand it. Like, you're struggling, you see me like your ex, and I can't spend the rest of my life trying to convince you I am not your ex. But then you finally get convinced. Now you have severed yourself from your past. You are excited, you are in a relationship with this new guy who is nothing like your ex. But then what you prayed for is right in front of you, and you want to run away. So we're going to look at, why do people run away in relationships? Why are people, what is the fear about commitment? All right. Let's even break it down. Could it be Nigerian economy? Could it be that they say, let me not call names, they say marry from so region of Nigeria, their bride price no cost. These are real life issues. They are this in no cost. But you want marry from another region of Nigeria, right? But the bride price is a lot, and then you bolt. By bolt, I mean you run away, all right? So we're going to dissect all of this tomorrow, and then we're going to see a whole lot of other phobias. But I'm going to leave you with one cure. So it's not enough for you to just diagnose a problem and you don't give a solution, all right? It's not enough. So I'll just leave you with this. There's something called exposure therapy. You probably have seen it in movies. Exposure therapy. And what is exposure therapy? Just like the name, the term implies, it simply means it's a type of therapy where you are exposed to your own fears. So you know this, so I'm going to describe it. You've seen it in movies, in Hollywood movies, where you see a person lie down or he's sitting on a chair and they put tubes in the person, they scrape the hair, put tubes, and then it's more like they're taking you back in time, memory lane, probably somebody in his 40s, and then you begin to see images of yourself, right? When you were a child, and you are describing what you're seeing, right? You're describing everything to a therapist. So now that is one avenue. That's one form, rather. That's one form of therapy, exposure therapy, rather. All right. So one of the ways you can treat your fear, treat your gamophobia, is actually exposure therapy. Now, it doesn't have to be the way it is in movies, but it could just be as simple as having to change environment. What do I mean? You're in a new city now, you came from the village. You might have to, there probably is some kind of, what's that word? There probably is some kind of trauma you went through when you were in the village, a particular spot by the river. You probably might have to travel down physically to your village, to that point in that river, and confront that trauma in your mind. Some of you might be able to relate to this. Okay, let me use myself again as an instance. You see, once it's Harmattan, okay, it's dry, it's windy and all that. It reminds me of my first love. Every time it's Harmattan to Air Secondary School. So as a junior boy, you don't wear trousers. I remember my very first day, I didn't have uniform. I had my mufti on, right? And then, my mom, dropped me off and, yeah, okay, bye. I was excited first day in school. So my seniors, fine boy, how you doing now? Show now, more talk. And then we went to the back of the class. Almost they beat me. First day, they beat me. And I'm like, which kind? They said, no, we are just welcoming. Which kind of nonsense welcome? Which kind? They said, oh boy, you're in military. Which kind of nonsense military? You know? And what was it? It's just that I wore trousers. So as a junior boy, we wore short knickers. So I remember when it's Harmattan, I just remember how I would sag my trousers. You know, how do I describe this? You know when you iron your shirt and then you make designs. A lot of us did it. You make designs like triangle, 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 triangle. I would take my time. I'll make those designs. Or I remember how I used to be in school football team. I remember how I would be playing football and she would be walking to school. Oh, I just felt it again. You know, and at that time, I go on, I be attacker, I'll start playing defense. I go on break person leg. Make she see say, I dey active, you know. I go on, pass for me. Or in Hausa, Samun, you know. But that came from just, what's it called? The wind of Harmattan. The same thing with rain. When you perceive the scent of wet sand, for some people, it takes them back 10 years behind. And they remember a person or they remember a particular memory. So, in dealing with your fears, this is what I'm leaving us with tonight. In dealing with your fears, first off, you might have to tell yourself, I'm not going to live in self-denial, that there isn't a fear. And then secondly, you might have to travel down memory lane. And you might have to do that either by having to be at a place physically or talk with a friend. Talking with a friend sometimes helps you unburden. In fact, all the time, if it's a good friend, if it's a listening friend, it will help you unburden. It will help you even see perspectives you never saw. And it could even help you to not magnify the fear. And then you'll be able to take the bull by the horn, as they say. Well, I like to take the bull by the leg so that I don't take it by the horn and it will turn and kick me. All right? So I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two. So before we go, I just want to check Facebook. Do we have comments on Facebook? Okay, we don't have comments on Facebook. All right. So we're going to, okay, Judith Yusuf. Hi, Judith Yusuf. How are you doing? How you doing, Judith Yusuf? All right, Judith Yusuf said interesting. Yes, it is interesting. All right. And we're going to really dissect this as the days go by. And then you begin to understand, you know, one of the things this series is going to do for you is that it's going to answer your question of why is it that I love this guy, but I can't get myself to accepting a proposal of engagement? Why is it that I love this lady, but I can't get myself to proposing to her, to spending the rest of my life with her? Why? Why? You need to know that why for you to be able to solve it. You need to have the proper diagnosis for you to actually get the actual drug that you need for it. So see this series as a very important series, okay? Stay with it, follow through with us, stay with this series because it's going to expose a whole lot psychologically for you. It's going to help you also, if you really love that man, you really love that woman, it's going to help you rise above your fears and actually have a committed relationship. So this is all we can take for tonight. We apologize once more for coming on late, but this is all we can take for tonight. We'll draw the curtains at this point. Okay, so all the way from here, R4M Studios, on behalf of the management and staff, we really just want to say a very big thank you for following through. We also want to say we really love you and we care about you. If you have problems, you have questions, you want to call in, you want to send a message, please do well. Our DMs are open. Follow us on every social media platform, all right? Very important. Tomorrow, I'm also going to be talking about what we did on Saturday, which was the Love Lounge, all right? So we had a very good time beyond just the online programs that we have. We had a physical meeting, an on-site meeting, and we had real human beings connect. We even had one bro say he no fit wait for the next one because he didn't get babe from our program. Yes, he got a babe from our program. And I was mastermind behind it, and it was fun. It was fun. All right. So we have fun and we learn. We have fun and we learn. That is how we roll here on R4M. Thank you so much. I remain prolific, and we love you. And we'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Thank you. God bless you.